Hello, welcome back to Our Heritage Works. Today we're going to be making some pickled jalapenos. The jalapenos have previously been freeze-dried, and then we're also going to make a zesty relish, and we're going to use part of the pickled jalapenos to create that. The ingredients that we'll be needing to make this is apple cider vinegar, white vinegar, some water, some salt, some garlic minced, and our freeze-dried jalapenos. Not pictured. We will also need a sweetener. I'm going to be using sugar. The first thing we're going to need to do is combine the vinegar, the water, the sugar, the salt, and the garlic all together so that we can form a basic brine or syrup for the jalapenos to pickle them. We will need to heat all these items together until we get to the boiling point. I'm using a somewhat larger pan so that way there's plenty of room when I add the jalapenos. But it takes several minutes, probably 3 to 5 minutes, for this to come up to a nice boil. Once the liquid is up to a boil, we're going to add the jalapenos and then bring these back up to a boil. You will want to boil these until they change color and become that dark olive color that you're used to seeing for pickled jalapenos. So be patient. It takes probably about another 5 minutes. Once the jalapenos turn that beautiful green color that we're looking for and they've softened up, we're going to want to pull the jalapenos out and then keep them hot while we use some of the brine that is left over in our next recipe. So just find a jar or a bowl or something, dip it out, strain it. You'll want to also keep some of the brine or solution available for canning. You won't need a whole lot because you're going to pack the jars with these peppers as tight as you can and then add in just enough of the brine to fill up the jar when you go to can them. I do want to thank everyone for watching. I hope that you will take a moment and give this a thumbs up, showing that you like this video, and that you will subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And also leave a comment, share with others. This really helps us to get noticed by the algorithm, and others will be able to benefit from what you're seeing as well. Now that we have the jalapenos ready to go, we're ready to start making the relish. And to do that, we're going to need to do some prep work. I've got a whole bunch of cucumbers that are sliced up. I've got some peppers ready to go. I've got some onions ready. But I need to dice them up into small, even-sized pieces. This recipe is very flexible. Right now I'm doing the cucumbers, and then I'm going to be doing the peppers and then the onions. By dicing them all up, getting them all the same size, we're going to have a nice even pickle. You can add other ingredients. As an example, I'm using white onions. You could use red onions if you wanted. For the bell peppers, you can use green bell peppers, yellow, orange, red, whatever you've got. Now, I have also made the same recipe using zucchini instead of cucumbers. So if you want to do that, please go right ahead, or do a mixture of both. Believe it or not, the zucchini does fabulous when you do a relish out of it. Besides these vegetables, you're also going to need sugar or honey or some sort of equivalent sweetener. You'll want some white vinegar and apple cider vinegar. I use both because I like the flavor. If you want to use one or the other, you can. It'll slightly alter the taste. Then I make sure that I use some of the pickled jalapeno juice. This really gives it a kick. And then the only other things we're going to add are some celery seed and some mustard seed. So we're going to take the vegetables and we're going to put them all in a bowl and cover them with very cold water. I've even added ice to the water. You can also put the water in, or the vegetables with the water in the refrigerator, but you need to let these soak for about 4 hours. This really allows a chance for the vegetables to crisp up. You'll also notice I've added some of the salt. I actually use pickling salt for this. I've heard that you can use other salts, but this really gives it a chance. The cool thing is, after it soaks, we are going to rinse this off. So most of that salt's going to go away. It's just there to help crisp up everything. In the meantime, while that's soaking, you can do this at any time during that 4-hour period. Go ahead and mix up all the other ingredients, the sugar, the vinegars, the juice, the celery seed, and the mustard seed. This allows these flavors to start to blend together before you throw them into the pot and start to boil them. Like I mentioned, once you have let the vegetables soak for about 4 hours, longer if you forget about them, that's fine, but you need at least 4 hours. I would not go more than overnight. But you're going to take these, drain them, and rinse thoroughly. Again, we're trying to remove as much of that salt as possible. Once you have rinsed the vegetables, you want to squeeze out as much of the excess water as you can. I'll do this for a few minutes, and then I'll put it in the bowl and let it drain for a little while longer, particularly while the brine that we're going to put this in, the pickling liquid, we're going to let this drain so that even more of that liquid comes out. Like with the jalapenos, we're going to put the liquid mixture into a pan, and we are going to heat this up till it is boiling. Once our liquid has reached the boiling point, we are going to take those vegetables that have been draining, might give them one last little squeeze to get any extra moisture out of them, and then we're going to add them to this liquid and bring it to a boil for 10 minutes. After it has boiled for 10 minutes, we're going to want to make sure that we keep the ingredients very warm. As you can barely see at the top of the screen, I am reheating the jalapenos just to make sure that those are nice and ready to go. Now we're ready to can. So we're going to take hot sterilized jars with the hot vegetable mixtures. We're going to pour them in. We're going to remove the air bubbles that are in there. That's where any bad stuff could hide. Then we take and wipe down the rim with vinegar. That will remove anything that any particles might be on the rim, and that might impact the sealing. From there, we're going to add a hot lid, finger tight a ring over the lid, and put them in our canner. We can can all of these together, the relish as well as the jalapenos, all together in the same canner. That's no problem. We are going to can these for 10 minutes for pint-sized jars, and we want to adjust if we need to for our altitude. You'll have to look up what is safe for your altitude, but most places that are sea level to, I think it's about 1,000 feet, 10 minutes will be your processing time. Please be sure to check if you have to adjust for your altitude. Once you're done canning, you will need to pull these out and let them rest for at least 24 hours. And try not to disturb them too much. You'll hear pinging where the lid is sealing. That's a good sound. Once they have completely cooled, I use a label maker and put a label on the lid saying what they are and the date that they were canned. That way I know when I go to rotate my products in the pantry, I know which ones to use first. Thank you for watching.